Good morning and good evening, guys. So let's wait for a few minutes and start the class. We still have students joining in. So yeah, everyone open up your VS codes and adjust your system in such a way that you guys can practice along with me and create a directory called day 4, day 04. So today is fourth day and go back to your VS codes and open the folder, which is Python underscore AIML. Yeah. So today we have some less participant in the class. Uh, okay, so let's start now. So yesterday we had a discussion about this input function. The purpose of input function is to accept something from the keyboard. So it will allow us to take user inputs, right? And when we start taking user inputs, everything about programming changes. Till now we were dealing with some hardcode stuff, and now we have the freedom of taking dynamic values from the keyboard. So now let's work on it. Open up the folder, where is it? Day 4, and create a new file called lesson1. So comment we'll be working on input function. Yesterday we had a small code that we wrote, that is we'll be accepting a name we'll be accepting a name. To accept a name from the keyboard, we should type input, and then we have to give a label name to it, right? So enter your name. This can be anything. This argument, whatever you are passing here, can be of like anything. It's up to you. You can just say enter your name, or you can say just name, or maybe based on the situation and the code, you can figure it out. And then we used a print function, and then we passed a name variable to it. And now from here onwards, if I run the code, it will ask me to enter your name. So maybe here we can give some colon and space. Enter your name. So I can give my name as Naushad, and it will print out the name. Exactly. So that's what we did. And now what we can do here, based on the concepts that we learned in yesterday's class, we can join multiple values, right? So here name is one value. Name is one value. So what we can do, we can join multiple values to create a welcome message. For let's say, who do we have in the class today? Let's say we have Nitin. So Nitin recently joined Plural Labs. So we are sending him a welcome message to his email, right? So for that reason, first we ask the name, during the registration, we ask the name of the Nitin, name of the student, right? And then we also ask the email of the student. Maybe not email, let's put it to maybe phone number, right? So we asked phone number of the student. Enter your number. Okay. Then after he gives us his name, and after he provides us with his phone number, we have to send him a welcome message to his email. So let's draft the welcome message. Now this welcome message will have multiple values. What should be the welcome message? For let's say I want a welcome message in this way. Hi, and then the name of the student, dot, welcome to Plural Labs. Okay, so this should be the welcome message. So how should I write? This welcome message is having three values in it. First, we have to write hi. So let's write it down, and then a comma, and then the name of the student should be displayed here. So the name of the student will be entered in this variable, right? So we'll copy this name and we'll paste it here as it is. So this is the name variable. Now name variable and the string values are separated by a comma. Now after name variable, I want this welcome to Plural Labs to be printed. So to do that, I have to again separate this name variable. I have to enter a comma. So this will be the second value. Now I have to enter the third value. Third value will be this welcome to Plural Labs. So let's take it and then double quotes and paste it. Right? Now let's try to run this code. So it is asking for the name. So let's enter Nitin here. And once I enter Nitin and click on enter, it is asking for the number now. Enter your number, because Python executes line by line. So it is going for this line and it is asking my name, and then it is going for this line, and then it is asking for my number. So let's enter the number. I'll be entering my number. And then once I click on enter, it will say, hi Nitin, welcome to Plural Labs. So this is what we are throwing a welcome message to Nitin. So if you observe here, maybe I want a full stop after Nitin, right? So for that, what we can do again, maybe you can say double quotes, comma, and then full stop. So again, even this full stop is added. So in this way, we can draft the messages using multiple variables and multiple values by accepting the inputs from the keyboard. Accepting the inputs from the keyboard. Okay, now so now what I want you to do is, let's check the type of the input value, right? So when I say type of the input value, let me remove this maybe. Okay, let's put it, because this will be also shared with you guys. So here I will be checking the type of the name and type of the phone number. So any guesses, guys? What would be the type of the name? The type of the name will be obviously a string value, right? When I run this, it is asking for the name. I enter some name and enter some number, and then it is giving me the type of the name is string, right? Because that's a string value. Maybe I will be more clear here because we tried understanding positional arguments and these values. So let's make this print function more readable. So for that, I will say the data type, maybe in double quotes and comma, the data type of name variable is. So I can do this, right? And then I'm separating it with comma and then type. So if I run this again, it will ask for my name and then it will ask for my number. So it's giving the data type. The data type of name variable is string, right? So we made it more readable. Okay. Now this is easy to guess, but what about this phone number? What will be the data type of this phone number? We will be entering a number, right? So now what will be the data type of this phone number? Any guesses? So let's paste it here. Let's paste phone as a positional argument inside this type function. Now I want you guys to check on your computers and let me know what will be the type of this phone number. Run this code and check for yourself. Run this code and check for yourself. What will be the type of phone number? Anyone in the chat section, guys? Come on in the chat section, everyone. The type of the phone number is also string, right? If I run this code, it is saying it is asking for my name. So I'll enter Naushad and I'll enter some number. When I enter a number, the data type of phone number is string. So what does that say? What does that say? Even if I take something called price, which is supposed to be an absolute string, absolute number, a whole number, course fee, that should be a string, right? Sorry, that should be a integer. Here I'm entering the name, I'm entering the number, and I'm entering the course fee. Let's say 150 US dollars. So course fee, when I enter the course fee as well, here if I take the price, still the course fee will be string. The course fee is being shown as string. We gave a price variable here. So now what is the problem here? What is the conclusion here? Whenever you use input function, whatever value that this input function creates, that value by default is a string value. That is by default a string data. So whether you enter a number, whether you enter a bool, whether you enter a string, right? Whether you enter a decimal point, everything will be converted to a string. Everything is a string when you enter it in the input function, right? So here we are entering name. Name is considered as a string because it goes through input function, and then we are entering a phone number. It is also will be used as a string because it goes through input function, and then we are entering the course fee. Course fee will also be a string because it goes through the input function, right? Okay, so now this concept is clear, right? So whenever you pass a value to an input function, that value will be considered by default as a string. That value will be considered as a string. Now, main purpose is, let's say the course fee is let's say the course fee is $200, but I want to perform some mathematical operations on that course fee because I want to give some discount on that course fee. So can I do the mathematical operations? Obviously no, right? So if I want to maybe print after discount, fee is So after discount fee is here, I'll perform some mathematical operation here. I want to minus maybe the course fee. Let's say it is $250. I want to minus $50 from it. I'm giving $50 as a discount to you guys. So from $250, I am deducting $50. So the course fee should be $200. So it should print after discount fee is $200 is what it is supposed to print out. So let's see. I'm running this code again. I'm entering Naushad here. I'm entering the phone number. And now I'm entering the fee. The fee should be, let's say the fee is $250. The fee is $250. So when it goes to the seventh line, next line, it should print 250 minus 50. But it will not print out. Why? Because this price is considered to be a string because it is going through this input function and that string is being stored in the price. So this price is having a string value in it, string data in it. So now our purpose to perform this mathematical operation, our purpose is to convert this string into an integer. How to do that? Anyone in the chat section? Guys, come on, everyone. How to convert, how to make this error, how to remove this error, how to convert this price into a integer, how to do that, guys? Anyone in the chat section? Sri, Monica, Ravali, guys, anyone? Come on. Mahim, Lokesh. Okay, so Srija says we will be converting this input function here in int in the first attempt itself. Yeah, that's fine. And Nitin also says we will be converting this price here as int. That also works. So we got two responses in the chat section, right? So we got two responses. One, Srija is saying we'll be converting input function here. We'll be directly converting it into integer. That's a smart move. Here itself, we are converting the fee, which is a string, into an int, and then we are storing it in price. That is doable. So let's try to do that first. Let's enter the name. And then let's enter some number here. And then now let's enter fee. As soon as I enter fee here, this $250, first it is a string when it goes through the input function. And then Python looks at the int function. It will convert this $250 into int. And then it will store that in price. And then we will be having price here, which is int. And then 250 minus 50, 200. That mathematical operation should be executed. Let's see if this throws an error or not. So that mathematical operation was successfully executed. Now after discount fee is $200. Earlier it was 250. Now it is 200. So this is one way, right? And then in the chat section itself, we have an other answer from Nitin. So he is saying instead of using int function here, he wants to use int function here on the price, right? So I will be using int function here on the price. And he wants to execute the code. So here what is happening? First, the input function gets executed. The course fee $250, which is a string, will be stored in price. So now this price is having a string data. Now it comes to this print function. And here in print function, this price, which is having a string data, will be converted into int using this int function. And then this subtraction operation will be performed. Let's see if that works. I'm executing it here. Again, name, number, and now the course fee $250. So now it says even that gets executed, right? So after discount fee is $200. So one solution, two different ways. Srija is giving one way and Nitin is giving the other way. Both are right in their own ways, right? So there is no perfect answer for one question in programming. You can write the logic in any in any different way, in different ways, right? The logic of one student can differ from the logic of other students. So yeah, this is how you can make use of int function to convert a string, to convert an input value into an integer. The best option, if you are doing it manually, the best option could be using the int function here itself, in the variable itself, because in the variable itself there is a reason. Even this is true, this is right, whatever Nitin suggested, using int function here in the print function, that's right, that will also work. But the problem is here, when I use int function here in the input, it is directly converting that string into an integer and it is storing it in price. But now if I use int function here in the price, so whenever I start using price in my code, I always should convert it into integer. So let me explain that more clearly with an example. Let's say we are following the process of Nitin, the code of Nitin. So this is Nitin's code where we will be converting this price into integer while executing it in the print function. That's fine. Now let's say for another student who is my regular student, I mean he is from the previous batches, he is also joining this batch. I want to give him $100 of discount. So what I can do here, print after discount fee is to my existing students of plural labs after discount the fee is, okay, so this is what I want to write, and then I enter a comma. Now what I have to do again, I have to subtract 100 from this $250. So what should I do? Again, I have to convert this price into integer. I have to convert that price into integer, and then I have to minus $100 from it. Now if I run this code, so it is asking the name. Let's enter our name here, and then the number, and then the fees is $250. So now what is happening? The after discount fee is $200. That's fine. And to existing students of plural labs after discount, the fee is $150. That is working. But the problem is here, how many times ever I use this price variable, I should keep on converting it into int, right? So this price variable by default, now not by default, but from the beginning it is a string. So whenever I use this price variable, I have to keep on converting it into int. So that is one of the drawback of Nitin's code, because I have to keep on converting it into int. What if I use int function here itself? Int function here itself, then there is no need for me to use this int function again and again and again, right? Again and again and again. So we are writing some small code here, but in future you will be writing some huge codes of 100 lines, 200 lines, or multiple files, in multiple files. So when you write this code in 100 lines, 200 lines, or in multiple files, and when you are working with a team, converting it again and again is not doable, not reliable, right? So the purpose of coding is to make our code smarter, to reduce the amount of code that we write. That is the best program. That is what a best programmer do, right? So for that reason, it is better option to convert the input, if possible, in integer here itself while executing the code, while taking the input from the user. Now there is no need for me to use the int function here or here. Now if I run this code, it works same as the code that we wrote before, but without the int function being written again and again and again, right? So the same output. So yeah, that's how you convert any string, any input value into int. You can also convert it into float if you want, using the float values, right? So most of the time pricings will be in float values, right? 150.5, like 22.30 cents. So this is how the pricings are designed. So you can also use float. If you use int, the drawback is, when you are running this code, enter name and enter number, and then if you are entering some decimal points here, this int will remove this decimal point here, right? It will remove the decimal point, and there will be some kind of error. What is happening here? Okay, so this 150.5 is considered as a string, and this int function will not work on this 150.5, because when we have a decimal string, int cannot convert a decimal string. Int can only convert a number string, a pure whole number string, right? So for that reason, if I use a float here, float should work for everything. If I'm entering a name here and the number and the course fee maybe $250, and 50 cents. It works here, right? And it is also giving us the decimal point in the output as well, right? So that is the benefit of using float here. Okay, I hope the concept is clear. Any confusion or any queries, just let me know in the chat section, guys. Is the concept clear, everyone? Guys, yes or no in the chat section, please. Okay, so now let's create a new file, lesson 2. So based on the concept that we learned here, let's develop a small calculator. Let's write a program. Let's write a program to add two given numbers, right? Let's do that. So how to do that? First, let's accept first number from the user. I will be saying like, I will be writing the first number. I will be writing the variable name as first number. And then I will be taking the input from the user. Enter first number. Okay. Now I will be converting this input into int. So user will be entering a number. So I have to convert that into int because we will be performing additional operation here, right? And then second number. Okay. So again, this second number will also be converted to int. I'll be asking the user to enter second number. Okay. And then in the print function, I should add these two numbers. So total, I will be writing some text here. Total, and then colon, and then a comma to separate the value, and then first number plus second number, right? So now let's try to test it out. So here, simple process, simple code. We are taking the input, we are converting it into int, and then we are storing in these variables. And then in the print function, we are writing a string variable, a string text here, total, and then we are separating that value by a comma. And then in the second value, this entire together is the second value. In the second value, we are adding first number and second number using this plus operator, right? So these are called as operators. You will be learning more about these operators maybe in today's or tomorrow's class. Don't miss out tomorrow's class, right? So let's run this code. So enter first number. So maybe I will enter 45, and then enter second number. I will enter 30. And then once I click on enter, the total is 75, right? So that's how you develop small logic based on all the concepts that you learned till today. So you can use minus, let's say, let's perform all the mathematical operations that we know. So print, now I want difference between two numbers that user is entering. So to do that, first number, let's enter comma here, first number minus second number. Okay. And then in the third print, I want multiplication. So here I will be again separating it with comma, first number, and then use the multiplication operator. The multiplication operator in computers is always a asterisk sign, right? So let's enter a asterisk sign here. Asterisk sign. And now let's also copy paste this and do some division here. First number, and then this is the division sign, division operator. So these are 4 different operators that we are learning in today's class. So these more about these operators will also be discussed in tomorrow's class as well. There is a lot of concept attached to operators. So don't ignore operator section, which will be discussed in tomorrow's class. Okay, so this is 9 lines of code. What we are doing, we are developing a minimal calculator here. We'll be accepting inputs from the user, and then we are adding, subtracting, and multiplying and dividing those inputs. So let's try to run this code. So enter first number, maybe I will enter 23 as a user, and then enter second number, I will be entering 12, right? So now when I click on enter, When I click on enter, so the total was 35. 23 plus 12 is 35. Difference is 11. 23 minus 12. Multiplication, it is 23 into 12, 276. And then division, it is 1.91. This is the decimal point. So you can also limit these decimal points to 2 digits. We'll be learning about that in future classes. But now focus on these operators and this input function, right? Okay, so this is how you work with these input functions. Input functions are a lot of use to us, right? So you cannot hard code this stuff every time. When you develop a dynamic application, you are supposed to take inputs from the user. That's where this input function comes into play. Okay, so there are many applications attached to this input function. Maybe let's work on another example. Right, so I'm just giving you some examples here because if you are new to programming, you will understand the concept of how we write a logic, right? So this is the basics. Now uh, let's try to develop a small what should I say it carting system which gives us total of the products that we have, right? So let's say so I'm at the shopping counter, right? So I am so you are a user, so you come to me and you give all your products. So now my job is to enter all the product prices in my computer, and in the end I have to give you the total. So let's do that. So maybe first I will say product 1, and then int, maybe not int because I will be using float here because I am taking product prices here. So input enter price. Okay, so now I will copy paste this like multiple times because let's say I have 5 different products with me. So 2, product 3, product 4, and product 5. So I have 5 different products here. So I will be entering prices of all those products, and then in the end I should print the total. So as you guys are guessing out, we'll be adding all these products. We'll be adding all these product prices, and then we'll be giving out the output. So these are the variables, different variables: product 1, product 2, product 3. Obviously, there is more simpler way to perform this operation, but I'm trying to show you some live operations of this. I mean, live applications of this kind of. Okay. So now when I run this, there is an error showing up, right? So what is the error? So invalid syntax, perhaps you forgot a comma. So these are 2 different values. I'm forgetting a comma here. So let me write that comma back here. And then let's clear this code and then run the code again. So enter price. So the product first price, maybe $20, and then $12, $34, $56, and then $79. In the end, it is 201.0. Why 0.0? Because we are converting every price into a float. Though I haven't entered any decimal price here, it always converts that string into a decimal number, right? So that's the concept here. You can also do some mathematical operations by applying discount here, right? So maybe I will try to apply a discount here. We are giving a discount of 5%. We are giving a discount of 5% to the user. Maybe let's put it simple and give it 10% to the user, right? Discount of 10%. So what I will do here is I'll create a variable. Observe, guys, this is something new if you are a non-programmer. The way of writing the code here. What I will do is, in the end, I want to give the total price to the user. I want to give the total price to the user. So I will create a variable called total price, and then I will do some mathematical operations here. I will add all these products, right? And then I'm giving a discount, right? I'm giving a discount here, not total, but let's calculate the discount. Discount, how should I say this? Maybe a discount to the user, right? So maybe I'll say discount to user. So in this variable, what I'm doing is every user will have his own products, right? Own price, own total. So what I will do here is based on whatever prices are entered, I will try to calculate the discount with this 10%. So 10% is the discount. So when this 10% is applied on all the total, what will be the discount? That's what I want to calculate. So what I'm doing here is I'm adding all the products and then I'm multiplying it I'm multiplying it with 10%. So 10% is nothing but 0.10, right? So 10% can be calculated as 0.10. But if you are very specific, you can say 10 by 100. You can also calculate that percent here. But let's see if that works. So here I will say the discount. We are calculating the discount that we are providing to the user now, not the total. The discount to user is, I will paste this user discount here. And now if I run the code, it's asking for the prices. I will enter some simple prices here, 10, 23, 44, 55, and 12. So the discount to the user is 14.4, right? So using this mathematical operations, it calculated the discount to the user. So let's calculate the total as well, right? How to calculate the total here? Maybe here itself, I will create a variable and then I will store all these additions in this variable and then I will print out the total. Total before discount. And here I'll just write the total variable. I'll write it next to this print statement. Guys, just focus. If you're finding any issue here, I'll be again discussing it. Right? I'm just trying to give you some practical applications based on the concepts that we are learning here. Right? So even if you fail to understand this, you should fail to understand. You will get used to these concepts in next two classes. Right? So here I'm trying to calculate the total of the product and I'm displaying the total before the discount. And now I'll also print total after the discount, after discount. So how to calculate the total after discount? We'll just subtract user discount from this total, right? We'll take total. Total will be sum of, let's say total will be $500. And based on the discount, 10% discount, which is $50, that $500 and $50 we'll be using subtraction operator. So we'll be subtracting $50 from the $500 and in the end we'll be displaying this total after discount. So this one will be printed on the user's invoice. I mean a user's bill, right? So that's how the user's bill are generated. So now let's try to run this code. So let's enter the prices here. Maybe I'll enter 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50, some random prices. The discount to user is $15, right? Total before discount 150 is the actual total, and the 10% for 150 is $15, right? So obvious mathematics over there. And then the total after discount will be 135. We are subtracting this 15 from this 150, and then we are giving this 135, and this all together will be printed on user bill and will be provided to him. So this is how the calculations will happen using the input functions and the arithmetic operations or arithmetic operators. So we learned how to perform arithmetic operations here. We also learned how to convert here before convert input string into a float or integer, right? And then we also built we also built a minimal application over here. Actually, I used to give these as assignments to my students in previous batches, but I thought of taking this as an example because uh, to make it to simplify this for even the non-programmers who are in the class, I thought of taking this as an example in this batch. But I used to give these sort of small projects as assignments to my previous students. So yeah, any queries here, guys? So if you are very good, so if you know the basic mathematics, you will understand what I did here. We have a concept called uh, uh, we have a concept called BODMAS in maths, right? So first you solve brackets, and then you solve division, and then you solve multiplication, and then you solve addition, and then in the end you solve the subtraction, right? So this is primary level mathematics which we learn in our schools, right? So here also, while working on this equation is having this brackets. So whatever the Python finds in the brackets, it will try to solve it first. So in the brackets, first it will solve the brackets. So in the brackets, we have these additions. So it will try to solve this addition first, and then it will also solve this bracket next, and then it multiplies it. So that's how this BODMAS concept is applied here. First, it will solve in every mathematics. We are supposed to solve in any equation. We are supposed to solve the brackets stuff first. So we solve the brackets stuff here and here, and then after solving the bracket stuff, we'll try to find division. If there is any division in the equation, that will be solved, and then we'll try to do the multiplication. So here we have multiplication. So it multiplied these brackets value with this brackets value. So that's how we got that output, and that output is stored in the user discount. So if any confusion or any queries, just let me know in the chat section, guys. Guys, everyone in the chat section, all clear? So we have some questions, so I'm cross-checking it. So Lokesh is saying print int 15.5. This is printing 15, but when the same is being accepted as an input from the user, it returns. Yeah, Lokesh, here I think you have missed some small concepts that we discussed. So the limitation for the int is, let's try to create a new file. I'll call it as test.py. So Lokesh is asking a question. What is the question is, when he is trying to print int 15.5, it is giving him 15, right? So it gives us 15 here. One second. So it gives us 15. But when he is trying to take the same value from the input, maybe I'll call it as x, and input, enter number, and then here I will try to what he's doing here. When the same is being accepted as an input from the user, it returns an error. So here I will convert this input to int, and then I will try to print this x. Now here what I will do is I'll try to run this code. So here it is asking for a number. So let me enter 15.5. Now this 15.5 is considered as a string, right? A decimal string to be precise, a decimal number string. So when I try to run this, it will throw me an error. The reason is a decimal number string cannot be converted to an integer. Only a whole number string can be converted to an integer. So these kind of numbers can be converted to integer, but these kind of decimal numbers cannot be decimal number strings cannot be converted to an integer using int function. So that's why it is throwing an error, right? So when you are using an input function, that is by default converting the given number into a string. So if you enter 15.5, that is a 15.5 is a decimal number string here in the input function. Now if I convert that into integer, that is a limitation for int. Int cannot convert a decimal number string. We also faced this error in yesterday's class, and even in today's class, somewhere we discussed this concept, right? Lokesh, I hope the question is clear. Let me know in the chat section if that is clear, right? So, okay, Lokesh says clear. So, separate with comma. So Sri, I'm going through your question here. Yeah. It's for obvious reasons, Sri. You can here I hard coded the discount, right? So 10% is the discount that I'm providing to user for every user. I hard coded it, right? So, but as a programmer, if you want to build a system where the discount varies from user to user, yeah, obviously you can also take that dynamically in the floating point. You can use a float here, and you can also take that with the input. You can also ask to enter discount. So from user to user, the discount varies. So you can build a system where even the discount varies from user to user. I hard coded it with 10, but you can do the same thing, and the logic remains almost same here, I guess. Right? No, here the logic changes because 10 is what I wrote here. Maybe here, what you can do is you can take this discount and you can add it here in place of 10, because we are converting this 10% into an actual decimal number, right? So 0.10, we have to divide it with 100. So when it is in percentage, so we'll take this discount and then divide it with 100, and then it should give you obviously a right answer. I hope, Sri, that is sorted out. Let me know in the chat section, Sri. Yeah, fine. So it's up to you guys. So there are a lot of scenarios that you guys can develop using programming. So it's up to you, right? So explore all kind of questions, all kind of questions that come to your mind. Try to do it by yourself on the editor, and if that is not sorted out, then throw that question in the chat section, so I will try to respond it, right? So first try to figure it out before asking the question. Maybe put some pressure on yourself to figure it out, because that's how we develop our programming skills, right? So yeah, this is it with the input function. I spent a lot of time explaining here with the input function because I want you guys so that in coming classes we can accelerate our lessons, because all these are some advanced stuff. I'm not supposed to discuss this operators in this class, and just I was supposed to only explain the purpose of input function and then move on. But I also discussed these 4 different operators here, their purpose, and I also discussed some small level projects here, because when we get into the next week, whatever operator concepts we will be discussing there, I want to accelerate those lessons. So for that reason, I'm just discussing all these concepts here itself, right? So to be frank, these are next week level concepts, not for students who are in just the 4th class, not for those students, but I'm trying to explain this stuff. So if you are understanding this stuff, then it is good, right? So if you are facing difficulty in understanding, then that's absolutely fine. Just let me know in the chat section. I will try to explain these concepts again, because I'm trying to discuss some bit mid-level concepts here. These are not like beginner level concepts for a 4th day student, but still, if you are finding any difficulty here, let me know in the chat section. All good? Guys, everyone in the chat section, please let me know. All good or no? So shall I move to the next lesson here? So let's move to the next lesson. Only few students are active in the chat section. I hope other students are able to catch up, right? So if you guys have any queries, keep posting in the chat section. Don't ignore them. So these are basic concepts. You guys should get very familiarized with these concepts. Now let's try to understand some basic concept in every programming language, that is escape sequence, escape sequences. So maybe I have to take a presentation here. Mm. Give me a second, guys. Give me a second. Give me a minute. Let me pull that presentation so that it will be easy for me to explain and easy for you to follow up. Give me a minute. So I hope you guys can see my screen now. So now let's try to understand what are escape sequences in programming. So now escape sequences are some special character combinations within strings that represent characters that are difficult or impossible to type directly or to add special formatting. Okay. Now the concept is not as difficult as this definition. It is a very simple concept, very basic concept. Now let's try to understand that. So there are some special characters which we will be using for our special characters that we will be using. So here are these escape sequences that we will be mentioning in a string and try to work out. So I will be explaining one by one, right? So every escape sequence, if you observe, they begin with a backslash followed by a specific character. You have a backslash and then n backslash t backslash backslash. So every escape sequence starts with a backslash. Now let's open up our VS Code and try to do this practically so that you will get an understanding before me explaining this theory and all, because some of you guys might get confused if I start explaining the theory. So let's try to get into our VS Codes and start typing. You guys also start typing with me. So first escape sequence that we will be trying to understand here is new line. So this new line is written, the escape sequence for this new line is backslash n, and then this is called as new line. So let's write that. So here I'll take a print function, and in print function I'll write hello Lokesh, and then I'll write welcome to plural labs, right? So this is the entire statement, but I want this statement in two different lines. If I try to run this code, it will print out hello Lokesh, welcome to plural labs in one single line. So in one print function, I want these two different statements to be printed in two different lines. So for that reason, we will be using this backslash n new line. So if I write this backslash n here, now this will become a escape sequence. Now, what is the definition of escape sequence here? This definition of this escape sequence, it will give us a new line, that is moves the cursor to the next line. So let's try to run this and check. It says, hello Lokesh, welcome to Plural Labs. Now this welcome to Plural Labs, which was supposed to be in the same line in before execution, now moved to the second line. So that's the purpose of this new line escape sequence. If I remove this space here, then even this additional space which you are seeing will be removed. Let's try to run that again, right? So hello Lokesh, welcome to Plural Labs. So this is how this new line escape sequence works. Now, if you go back to the definition, escape sequence are special characters. So special character is nothing but this backslash n. That's a special character, combination of special characters with strings that represent a character that are different or impossible to type. Now, in this print function, it is definitely impossible for me to type a new line. Now, if I try to click on enter and think that that will create a new line, then that's not gonna work. If I try to run that, it is just gonna give hello Lokesh, welcome to Plural Labs, right? So for that reason, you need some escape sequences to all those things that you think is tough to do in this print function. We have those escape sequences. So here new line is tough for us to type in the print function. So we enter this escape sequence, new line, right? So this is one example. Now let's go to another example. So what is the other escape sequence we have? That is tab, right? So everyone know what tab is. You have a tab key in your keyboard. So it will give around 3 spaces, I think, right? 3 or 4. I think it's 3 spaces. When you click on tab, it gives you 3 spaces, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. No, sorry, 4 spaces. If you click on space button, it gives you 1 space. But if you click on tab button, it gives you 4 spaces. So I want that tab here. So I will try to print, and then maybe I have name, name, and then I want 4 spaces between name and age. 1, 2, 3, 4. If I try to execute this, okay, it is giving me 4 spaces here. So the same 4 space we can also do with the back T here, and then print. And guys, remember, most of the time we might use this backslash n, but this backslash t is rarely used. I'm just giving it for the sake of the course, but I rarely use this, and maybe you will also be rarely using this. Just for knowledge purpose, we are discussing this. This backslash n is very purposeful escape sequence. When it comes to backslash t, tab line, I rarely used in my programming. So when it comes to you, so this is what we can do with backslash t. You can enter 4 spaces. But what I just observe is we can also just enter 4 spaces here. And even that works, right? So yeah. So maybe there are some situations in future where you will be where you are not supposed to enter these 4 spaces. Then you can use this backslash t. So if we come across those situations, I will take some time to explain this stuff there as well, right? So but the purpose of backslash t is to enter a tab space. Backslash t, then right? So to give a 4 space without recalculating the 4 spaces, this is how you get a tab space. Okay, and then the next thing, is, let me enter this as backslash. I hope everyone is doing this along with me on your screens. Let's quickly finish this. This is the second escape sequence that we have. And then let's do this third one. What was the third one here? Backslash. Prints a literal backslash. Okay, so if you want, so this is the backslash sequence, escape sequence. So now if I print, it is a backslash colon. Now if I try to run this code, so you get one single backslash, right? So there are situations where you are supposed to, so you might say, why can't I just enter a backslash and finish this? So this backslash and double quote is having an is a different escape sequence. So there might be some confusion here. So there are situations where you are supposed to enter a backslash, and this backslash here we are getting an error because this backslash, when it combines with this double quotes, it is an other escape sequence we have. If we go here, so here backslash and double quotes will give us a single double quote. So there is an other escape sequence when we combine this. So if you want to enter a backslash, then this is the escape sequence that we can follow. So this gives a single backslash without an error, right? So these concepts will come into action when we try to develop a code where a lot of literals come together, right? So you have backslashes, you have double quotes, you have single quotes. There are some situations in future where you are supposed to enter double quotes, single quotes, backslash in one single line. Then these kind of escape sequences come into action. So we will understand that. But for now, I just want you to remember that to enter a backslash in print statement, this is the best option. And then the fourth one and fifth one are single quotes and double quotes. So backslash, single quote. And then the fifth one will be backslash, double quote. Right, so print, maybe I can say, if I have something like, as you guys know, we can write a string in double quotes or a single quotes, right? So I'm writing a single quote here, single quote string, and then I will write it's a sunny day. Okay, so now VS Code is already giving me an error here, but I will ignore that error and I will try to run that. And it says there is some kind of unterminated string literal is here. What does that mean? Because we are already using a single quote here to represent a complete string. But when I use a single quote here again for S, before S, what Python is treating it as one string. It is only treating it as one string. And then it is ignoring the remaining word here. And this remaining word has no other single quote here. It is having a end single quote, but it is not having a beginner single quote. So that's why it is giving an error. So to handle those cases, we can use this escape sequence. So if I use this escape sequence and now run, then I will not have that error, right? So it's a sunny day. So this single quote is printed in above this S now, right? So to handle those kind of situations, you need to write this. So here you can also use double quotes as well to avoid that scenario, right? So if I use double quotes to handle this complete string, then I can use this single quote here and then run this code. So it again works. The problem is if we use a single quote to wrap this string and then again you use a single quote inside this statement, then there will be a problem. So to avoid that problem, we will be using a escape sequence called as backslash, single quote, right? And the same concept will be applied here as well for the double quote. I can say print he said, so to write any kind of quotations, right? Python is easy. So to write any kind of quotations, we normally use double quotes, right? So now I can execute this code without any error. So he said Python is easy. Now, if I remove this double backslash here, then that will throw me an error. So there is an error, right? So for that reason, when you are wrapping up the entire string with double quotes, and then you also have to use a quote inside a string, then it is a best practice to use this escape sequence. Use this escape sequence. And the other easy way is you can also write the same thing. Instead of this double quote here, if you know that there will be some kind of quotation inside a string, then you can remove this double quote. You can wrap this entire string in a single quote. Then this will also work because we have a single quote, and then in the string we have a double quote, so that will work as just like how the above statement. But the problem comes when we use a single quote even in this statement here. Like for example, he said, maybe I can say, it's a sunny day and Python is easy. So when I have this, I have a single quote here. I also have a double quotes in the string. And then this entire string is wrapped up inside this single quotes. Then I have an issue. Why? Because this entire string is wrapping up inside a single quote, and then I'm using a single quote here as well. So that is creating an issue that we had seen in this statement. So to avoid that, we use a escape sequence called as backslash and single quote. And if I run this code, it works absolutely fine. He said it's a sunny day and Python is easy, and we have double quotes here. We have a single quote here, and then this entire print statement is wrapped up. This entire string is wrapped up in a single quote as well. Okay, so I hope that I hope you guys understood the concept. This is a bit confusing to understand, but if you guys keep on practicing, then you will get there. Just let me know in the chat section if that is clear. Guys, everyone in the chat section. Okay, so we are almost 10 minutes apart from the class. Yeah, clear, but need to practice, right? So yeah, this thing clearly needs a practice. But what I would say is, maybe if you guys understood the concept, move on. Don't spend a lot of time in practicing this. Maybe one or two examples is fine, but like 30 minutes, 1 hour just dedicating on escape sequence is not required, is what I say. You will get used to this, right? So if you guys have some time, then I will take another example here, maybe 2 more minutes. We are almost 10 minutes apart from the class time. So just give me 2 more minutes. I will also show you another example here. Let's mix some escape sequences together, right? So I want to mixing new line escape sequence and tab sequence, right? I want to mix this to format the table. So I want to print something like this, name, and then I want age, right? In the same print statement, I want to print 3 different names and ages of those 3 different students in the same print statement. So technically, I cannot do it here without the help of escape sequences. So let me write the code which gives me a table, something like this, right? So here, maybe I don't have today a pen here. I want a table, something like which gives me name and age, and then here name of a student and age of that student, name of the second student and the age of the second student, and the name of the third student and the age of the third student. So I want a table like this, but with one single print statement. So technically writing just sentence is not possible. So for that, we will be using escape sequences. Just follow me closely now. Maybe you can practice it along with me here. So for name and age, I will give a nice tab sequence here, tab, and then after name and age, the student name, the first student name is entered in a new line, right? So for that, I will be giving an escape sequence called as \n, and in this \n, I will be entering a name of the student. So maybe I will enter the name of the student as Anil. So some space here. One second, guys. Let's not close this double quote here because that's not the end, right? Inside this double quote here in the next line, Anil, and maybe I will enter his so Anil, and then I will give a tab space here, and then the age of Anil. And then once I enter the first student name and age, I want the second student name and age in a new line. So let me enter the second student age and name here. Maybe Madhuri here, and then tab space, and then the age of Madhuri. And then in the new line again, I want the third student name. So \n, Mohit, and then a tab space, 27. So now let's try to run this code and check for ourselves, right? So if I run this code, I get a beautiful, not a beautiful table, I think. So there is some problem with Madhuri and 26 here. Maybe let me take a some small name. Maybe I will take Anit here, just for example's sake, right? So here, name and age, Anil, Anit, Mohit, everything is entered in a new line because we are using this new line escape sequence for every time, right? For name and after name and age, we use this new line sequence. After Anil and 25, new line sequence. Anit and 26, new line sequence. And then between the name and the age, we are using the tab sequence because we want this beautiful space here between name and age, right? So that's how you mix two escape sequences and write down the print statement. So this comes with practice, guys. There is no need for you to spend hours in understanding this. Just go through this lesson once and practice it. And then if you understood the concept, then that's fine. You will figure it out as you start writing some real programming, real code, right? So yeah, that's it for today's class. Maybe I will provide some more examples in the material. In tomorrow's class, let's discuss operators. Guys, one more thing. So usually when I deal with US batches, even when my team deals with US batches, we have a lot of absentees happening on Fridays. So I understand you guys have some family space, family work, and office work and all. But make sure you guys attend tomorrow's class because operators is one of the important concept in the entire programming language here. So understanding operators is very important. So make sure you guys visit tomorrow. If I have a very less count in tomorrow's class, then I have to skip tomorrow's class because I cannot dare to think of most of the students missing out this operators concept in tomorrow's class, right? So make sure to attend based on tomorrow's class strength. I will be taking the class, right? Okay, fine. Yeah, that's it for today's class. If you guys have any confusion or any queries, let me know in the chat section or you are free to leave. Thank you. I hope the concept is clear. Thank you, Srija. Yeah, Lokesh, I understand the reason. I was not aware that today is a long weekend. This is a part of long weekend. Uh, but if tomorrow even these 9 students don't attend the class, even if there is a small strength, then I will try to skip the class and go for Monday's class. And guys, for Indian students, Mahim, are you still in the class? For Indian students, we'll be having classes from Tuesday to Saturday. For students from US and Canada, the classes will be from Monday to Friday. right? So both the classes will happen at the same time, but just because of this time difference and all, EST and IST, that is the difference. So tomorrow being Saturday, even Indian students will have class tomorrow. So yeah. So I see no queries. So I'm terminating the call. So thanks for your time.